Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, speaking of tea, yeah, McDonald's. Now I need to do another episode on places where we can enjoy a meal and actually eat. And I will be experimenting on making a more authentic like McDonald's flavored French fries so that because I know they get and the thing is I haven't let's see trying to I think I've literally only had McDonald's twice over the last 5 years, 5 or 5.5 even. So to me, not eating there anymore isn't that hard. How I'm still a thick girl, I don't yeah. That doesn't mean I don't like because I think another reason why there's several reasons why I stopped eating McDonald's, especially, well, yeah, let's just say it's a long story or it's a long list, really. But okay, okay. So now we have another place that has identified as not being for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And sometimes I keep wondering, like, do they feel more comfortable now because a certain person is gonna be in office. Ew. Oh. Mm. Anyway. Anyway. Just the thought of it just makes me kind of almost want to vomit in a way. Yeah. But anyway, because many stores, many places are now saying they are against it, and any any store, any fast food, any place that says they're against DEI, basically they're letting me know they hate me. And it shows more why it was so hard for me to get a job years ago. Because while I was trying to finish up my bachelor's degree, it was because, yeah, I didn't have the degree yet, but I was trying to find internships while I finished it. So then I finished my degree, but then it was still, oh, well, you still don't have the work experience. And I'm like, that's why I'm getting this job. I'm trying to find a job to get the work experience. So then I kept working, or it's like I kept working to find a job because in another video I told you guys that I had to work at the zoo, $8 an hour. They treated me like crap, except Rita, you were amazing. Like you were one of the like the only above staff, like other than the summer workers, that actually I feel actually valued the employees, and I still have the penguin that you gave me when, like, during my last week and everything, the goodbye president, everything, I still have it. And yeah, it's chilling next to one of my other, like, stuffed animals that I got, like, years ago. But anyway. Yes, like, Rita, if you're out there, just know we need more people like you. And if you don't mind, I want to tell your story of how sweet and wonderful, amazing, genuine, empathetic you are. So, but anyway, I was trying to find a job with my degree, and I couldn't. It's like I kept having jobs either talk about or ask me about why did I walk the way I did, or since I couldn't find the experience, they were saying that I don't have the experience. And I'm like, huh? Okay, can you guys let me know what jobs I can apply for that will help give me the experience in order to work for you guys? It's like, cause it's like, that was the frustrating. Like, I'm like, so which jobs? And so it was almost at a point where I know one person was mocking me from college or whatever because they found a job and it had nothing to do with their degree, but they were just telling me, "Oh, well, you must not be trying that hard. And do you really have to find a job that goes with your degree?" That's what I got the degree for. It's like, and that baffled me. That baffled me because I did all that work, and now I'm not supposed to use what I learned. I'm just supposed to find any. I'm confused. So, but it was either like how I walked, or sometimes some jobs, because the first interview was over the phone, so they thought I was white. Yeah, they thought I was white. So then I would get there. I still remember, I think I told the story about how I walked into one office and I said I was there for an interview, and the white female receptionist, her response was, "Oh, you must be here for the cleaning position." Then I asked her, why did she ask that, or why did she think that? And she said the only other position that we're interviewing for is the marketing one. And I said, that's perfect, because that's the one I'm here for. I'm here for the marketing position, not the cleaning one. She looked at me like deer in headlights. Or no, well, she kind of looked at me once the deer became roadkill. That's how yeah. And I remember she ran to the back office, and I guess she had to inform the owner of the place, but she wasn't in time, because I think he had a phone call or whatever, and he kept telling her to hold or to go back or whatever. But he decides he was going to come up to the front desk to get the person he was about to interview, but he still didn't know. He still didn't know. There was more people in the front office than me, or in the waiting area, and including a white woman, a young white woman. He comes out before, like, cause yeah, and he keeps ignoring the receptionist, and I'm like, um, you guys act like you guys are at a work divorce, because your communication skills are terrible, absolutely terrible. Because he kept ignoring her, came up to the front, went up to the white woman, and shook her hand, said my name, again, said my name, and said, I was like, and she wasn't dressed for an interview too. So he was like, oh, well, I guess you can't, marketing people sometimes do come casual, so that's okay. So yeah, come on back, come on back. And the woman's looking at him, and she was just like, that's not my name, or what's going on. And so I sat there for another 30 seconds to a minute, because it's like, and see, we didn't have smartphones yet, but that would have been an amazing point to record. It's like, I wish that was a popcorn moment, a golden popcorn moment. Like, especially when Zennials have the nerve to say, there's no more racism, shut the crap up. You have no idea what you're talking about. Little boy, little girl, sit down, shut up. It's like, if you haven't lived that life, you're fortunate, you're blessed. But some of us millennials, especially in the workforce, especially when I myself had to change my name in order for me to get job interviews and calls, because I have a unique name. So since I have a unique name, that means jobs are going to have red flags, you might be black, or red flags, you might be a person of color. I had one job interview where over the phone, it was over the phone, and we talked for a long time. Even after all the questions, he still wanted to talk to me. And he was just like, he was so impressed. And it's like, he loved my ideas, and like, different, like, even when I said I looked at the website and a couple things that I would recommend, he was like, oh, let me write this down. Part of me is like, if he used my advice, I need to bill him. I need to bill him, because okay, what happened after? He decides, or somebody at that office decided, to look me up on LinkedIn after the phone call. And my picture's on there. And one thing I've learned from other millennials, they've taken their pictures down off their LinkedIn. They've canceled or taken down or they hid their Facebook page. Somehow I need to look up how to do that. But they did all of that in order to get the job, or at least get to the face-to-face interview, because as soon as he saw that I was black They called me back basically saying, never mind on the final interview. It's like, because I saw when he got onto LinkedIn, he was like, he didn't get on LinkedIn until after my interview because I think I got a notification, either email or something, because I was researching or doing something on my computer, and I saw the notification email that this person checked in. This was the same man that interviewed me. And so then, like 20 minutes to an hour later, I forgot exactly how long, he came right back and called me to tell me that, do not worry, you don't need to come to the interview. And so there was another thing where at the Lions Stadium in Detroit, they were doing this whole huge like interview, like tons of companies were coming in to interview, and some people had private special interviews. And I got two special interviews, and I was so excited, but then my walking was getting worse and worse and stuff. I had to wear certain shoes, but they weren't gym shoes or whatever. I didn't know that one of my interviews would be on the field, and you were not allowed to wear the shoes I was wearing on the field. And so, like, I was already stressing and worrying about that. And then the first interview that I had, the woman said, I wouldn't have imagined you look like this. Basically, black. And so when I'm talking about my experience and things, she was like, how did you learn about that? Well, how do you know about that? I got my degree. What are you talking about? I studied my butt off. What are you talking about? And it was just like every question, she was just like, how would you know this? What do you know about that? And it's just, and then when I told her everything I learned about her company because I did my research, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, you do know us. You do know some of our best files and things like that." And I'm like, "Yes, because I looked you up." But then the second interview, I went to security. I told him my situation and problem, and the guy was like, "Oh, don't worry, hon. We're going to make sure you get to that interview." And it's like, 'cause he even complimented me on my outfit. He was like, "I can." He was like, because a lot of people that went to this interview thing, they had sneakers on, like, well, t-shirts, jeans, some with holes. Look like, it's like, I don't want to say they were looking a hot mess, but some, I'm just like, this isn't how you're supposed to go to a job interview. But, and this was pre getting diagnosed, way before getting diagnosed. So with my like my handicap is like just undiagnosed disability, I still had to walk almost a mile because the parking was so terrible. And so, with my legs in pain, walk all the way there, walk all the way back to where my car was. So that was already absolutely horrible. But then I finally get to the second interview on the field, and the woman literally, she keeps cutting me off during questions, and she was shocked that, like, with one of her clients that she had, I was like, oh my gosh, if you can do a part two with the technology today, and I said a couple of things and even an app idea, she was just like, I don't know, she kind of did that Karen grunted kind of like, oh my god, like, okay, um, you're proving yourself, but oh, I want nothing to do with you. Oh my God. Like, I don't know. It's like she kind of acted like I was the gremlin or whatever. It's like she couldn't get close to me or whatever. But then her response at the end of the interview, well, we're not actually hiring. We just want to see what's out there. So you had me fill out a whole full application. You gave me the private interview. I got dressed and everything in order, like, to. It's like you do not know how flabbergasted. Like, I did all of this and walking with like pain in my legs, and then having to figure out how to get down there. And it's just like some people are like, "Well, you didn't know you were diagnosed." No, I didn't, but doctors telling me the pain was in my head for over 35 years. Yeah, 35, yeah. And so I'm literally fighting the pain. Literally telling like, because even waking up to get ready for those interviews those days, it's like, I'm so stupid I can't walk right. I'm so stupid I'm thinking I'm in pain. I'm so stupid I can't walk that far. I'm like, and I kept like, throughout college, throughout working, even as a promotional model, that's what I kept telling myself. I'm so stupid because doctors kept telling me nothing was wrong with me. And people keep telling me, oh, well, I doubt you can sue. I should be able to sue because they ruined my childhood. They ruined like all of the years that I was applying for jobs and jobs telling me, if you walk around like that at the company, our clients, yeah, you're going to take our clients' attention and put it on you. Or why don't you go to the doctors and see if they can get you fixed and then come back? Because you have really great ideas. And so then, after I finished my master's, my first master's, now all of a sudden I'm overqualified. Or I have great experience and everything like that, but they would really love this other master's. So then I get my second master's, my MBA. Now I'm overqualified to almost everyone. So then I had to create about 5 different variations of my resume. So when a lot of people try to put Kamala down for not having McDonald's on her resume, they're really stupid, ignorant, naive, and they're just imbeciles, in my opinion. In my opinion. Because especially once you finish 1 degree, 2 degrees, whatever, and I have 3 certifications, it's like some jobs aren't going to want somebody with all of that. So then you have to like look at the job and see which resume would go best with that one. And sometimes being like, you know what, a different combination will do better. So then I have a blank version, like, well, kind of a blank. It has a lot of things I've done, but then with education, I leave that one blank. So then I can just copy and paste the ones that will be best for that position. And because if I list all of them, I have literally been told, companies have literally told me, no one is going to hire you with all of that because you are going to look like a threat. So then when people tell me that the only reason I get jobs is because I'm black, it's infuriating. It's frustrating. And so when McDonald's, because yeah, oh, this is only part one, because I'm going to dig even harder with McDonald's. And on the Handicapable Nerd channel, I'm going to talk about, because you know what? Right now, I'm gonna start talking about the commercials that McDonald's should really be doing, because it's crazy, because ever since they like announced they're dropping DEI, I have seen 50 commercials, and I'm not over saying it. I'm not overreacting. 50. And a lot of them have people of color. A lot of the commercials have people of color, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You need to have majority white men with the red hats. And you know what? Yeah, because I'm going to talk about this on the Nerd channel, but I've got some commercial ideas that they should be doing, especially red hat, red hat, an M and M's. Perfect. It's kind of like a political party and a business that should be married. So yeah, I don't need their burgers. I don't need their fries anymore. They had good smoothies when I did one of their promotions for their smoothies back like years ago. Like we went to beaches and different events and festivals, passed out the smoothie coupons and stuff like that. And I remember there was leftovers, and I asked the manager, what do you want me to do with them? And they liked how I passed them out, because a couple, like there was a kid that came up to me I just finished this book today. And I was like, oh, you read that book? What's it about? Like, give me a summary. And so they summarized it really well too, because I gave the mom a high five too. And so it's like, and I was like, Mom, you deserve this coupon too. And she was gonna get one anyway, but it's like I think I gave her two, because I'm like, you know what, you're doing your thing. It's like this child just summarized and even like went deep on the main character. Go mom, do your thing. So, but the manager was watching me, and sometimes she laughed. She was like, oh my gosh, she was like, you're great. And so she told me I can keep some of them, because she was just like, would you mind passing them out? Like, because she knows I'm not a shy person. And so sometimes, like, if someone would get the door for me, or I remember one time oh, when I told you guys in another episode how my ex didn't have enough money for groceries and rent and his divorce lawyer and child support or whatever. So I bought like around $211 in groceries. But someone was nice enough. They're like, "Oh, let me help you with those." And so I remember I gave the gentleman a coupon or whatever, and they were just like, "You know what? My wife keeps talking about these smoothies, and she wants to be healthier." And so I was like, "You know what? Treat your wife." And I gave him another. And he was just like, "Oh," he was like, "God bless you." Okay, like, thank you, thank you. And it's like, so to me, I'm just like, I know I do my job. And when I did promotions for them, it's like I did my thing. But to know that they want nothing to do with people with disabilities, people of color, black, and maybe even women, I don't know. And knowing how many horrible job interviews I've been to where just because of how I look or the color of my skin and how I walk, they wanted nothing to do with me. These companies don't know the need of DEI. They don't know how ignorant and how some people love being ignorant and not knowing about people who are different than themselves. And the evidence is in the voting. The evidence is in the voting. Yeah, I said it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a few episodes, but on this subject, especially talking about different companies who have decided to drop DEI because they're just showing that they hate me. It is. They do hate me. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Because if they don't know what I already have to go through, if they don't know the struggle, also if they don't know how hard I worked to be able to compete against other people, because I not only have to have the degree, I have to shine 10 times brighter. And especially having a disability and being black and being female, do you even know how much on perfection I have to be, how much I have to learn? And the thing is, I love learning. I love like just finding out new things. So, and I think that's one reason my students hate me, because like sometimes I am piling on, like, here's more information. Because especially teaching at a community college, I've had students tell me, I only have community college education. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they're just like, it's cheapened education. They only give us the minimum. And so then I'm like, not in my classroom. And it's like I've had students like give me hugs and even give me little tokens and things like that, like, because they let some know that I love cute pens and things like that. So, but they're just like, you. It's like sometimes I talk to my friends that went to U of M and Michigan State, and they're just like, you got to do that. You get to do this. That's amazing. That's so cool. Oh, I want to ask my professor if we can do that, because I want to make sure when my students leave, I want them to be more prepared than I was. I want them to be ready. I want them to be able to compete, because I know how hard you have and how amazing you have to be able to compete, especially when you're black, especially when you're a person of color, especially when you're a woman, and especially when you have a disability. But some of the students, They complained. They couldn't stand me. They're like, oh, she's trying to be too perfect. Oh, she's trying to be too much. Why is she trying so hard? I'm trying so hard because I want you to have an amazing future, but I see you don't care about your own future. Okay. I guess you get to use the privilege of your parents buying these classes so you don't really have to care much, or the fact that some of them, their parents were just going to hire them into their business. So their parents just said you just have to have the degree so that no one can look either way, or they couldn't complain or whatever, because it's like once you get the degree, you're hired. Do you know the privilege? And guess what color? Guess. Sometimes it was, well, not black, but sometimes it might be a person of color, but a certain, yeah, all four times, yeah, four times it was a person of color. It was the same, yeah, yeah. I'm spilling all the tea. I don't care. I don't care. But they don't realize how hard it is out there. Some of them have that privilege. Some of them have the magic key. Some of them have a chair already assembled for the table. See, but my scooter isn't welcomed at the table. Anyway. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too. Now I think I'm craving some curly fries or waffle fries. What are your favorite flies? Where did that? Favorite fries. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work today, but nothing relating. I was doing research on flowers for hummingbirds and bees, but fly still has nothing to do yet. Anyway. Yeah, let me know what are your favorite fries down at the bottom. So, but you guys, yeah, we're in some times because since I recorded this, there is a list of 200 or almost 200 words that he's banning. And then the situation with student loans, which for so many like myself will be an absolute nightmare. They tell us go get an education, get a career, get all this other stuff, but then you get the job, then you get the education for the career, but then the education costs so much money, but then you try to get a job, and so many of them start off at $10 or $12 an hour. But then if with my disability they tell me, no, you're worth more, your resume is blah blah blah. So then I try to go for higher positions. Then I get told, well, you need management skills or like the time in higher up positions, or I need to walk better. And it's like people may never believe me. I do not care. I grew up with everyone calling me a liar until I could no longer walk anymore. So I'm done, whatever. But they say they're gonna hire off merit. It's a lie. You don't have to believe me, but I'm evidence of it being a lie. They don't hire. They don't hire off merit. Even years ago, they didn't hire off merit. I tried and I tried, and I've worked and I've hustled and I've had to do so many things. But being black and having a disability and being a woman, they will never, it's like they will never give me a seat at the table. I will have to build it. I will have to create it. I'm not ordering it off of Amazon, I know that much, but I'm going to have to create my seat at the table. I am going to have to pave my way, construction work and all. But it is what it is, right? Right?